Welcome, everybody. This is Michael McIntyre, your humble host here at McIntyre Inc. Thank you for joining us today. And hey, we're excited. We've got our very first guest in studio. Yes?
Yes.
And we've got Brianna, my co-host. How you doing, Brianna?
Doing great.
Good. And I want to introduce you to my other daughter, Brecca. How you doing, Brecca?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Yes. Are you excited about being here?
I'm so excited. This place is awesome.
You like our studios?
Film. I love it.
And listen, coming from you, that's a big deal because you are picky.
I am. Sure am.
Sure are.
So you're surprised how nice it is?
Yeah, I am. I feel like we've definitely upgraded.
Yeah. Yes, we did.
It feels real. Feels real.
Yeah.
Being here.
It was funny the other day. Brianna was doing some looking at some of our deals. She goes, "I only have one regret about our podcast video." And what was that, Brianna? You said because we haven't done it sooner.
Oh, yes.
Now you remember.
Short-term memory loss is real.
Yeah, well, I noticed that because I thought, oh my God, what did we do wrong this time? Because sometimes you girls are picky about stuff, which is good. And you said
that you were not picky about.
Right. And you just said you were glad, you wish we had done this. Why do you wish?
I think I know people have encouraged us over the years, so we acknowledge you all for encouraging us to do it in this format over the years. But, I just think that the conversations that it allows us to have is different than, I don't know. And then the content is like really, it's real that comes out of it. It's not some fake.
That's true.
Thing.
Yeah, it's not rehearsed. And
and
we generally don't have an agenda.
No, right. And not that any of our content is, none of it's rehearsed, but it's just unique.
I mean, I think the first time you had questions for me, but we kind of diversed. Since then we haven't had that. So at any rate, right, I like that you like it.
Yeah.
Okay, because if you like it, it's got to be good.
Oh.
All right, so we've got our first guest, and we're a family of entrepreneurs, and Brecca is probably, and she's our youngest daughter, and she's probably our biggest entrepreneur in the family thus far. Yeah. She's out there, and I like being her coach, and which is a lot of fun. So, but you know what, Brecca, you've really done great. I mean, you started out this thing. I remember you started out. Lux Supply, wasn't that the first thing you started out?
Yeah, that was
Give us the
OG.
history of the world, part one, according to Brecca.
Yeah. Well, it feels like we're just a family of serial entrepreneurs, and that I think that so Lux Supply. That was the first business I started. I think when I was
right out of college.
Yeah, right out of college.
You got a degree from DBU.
Yes.
In
entrepreneurship.
Oh, I thought you were asking what year. I know. 2020. I don't know. Yeah, so it was in entrepreneurship and business management. And so I didn't know what business to start. You helped me with the idea. I ran with it. God gave me a lot of favor very early on, and I met some amazing people. I learned the most that I've ever learned in my life, probably when it comes to responsibility and knowing how to just talk to people, manage people, and grow a business. So that was my foundation, a luxury concierge business. And
you had some famous clients too.
I sure did. And I have some interesting stories as well.
I remember you coming to me and said this lady from The Bachelor is moving to Dallas.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So, and you landed her as a client. How did that happen? You sacrificed a lot, but it also opened up an avenue for you.
Totally. So I was chronically and am still chronically online. You kind of have to be, especially I think timing is so important with business. So if you notice the trends and you go along with what's happening, not just like in the world, but even in your area, in your city, who's moving to your city. So that's what I noticed. This girl who was moving to Dallas, and she had a huge following, and she was really hot, and it was just the time to reach out, and I offered her some services.
You DM'd her.
I emailed her agent because this person had 1 million plus followers, so they will never see a DM.
I got you.
And that's what people don't understand. Like, oh yeah, I'm going to reach out to this influencer to get a brand deal. And it never happens because they never see it or they just ignore it. And so you always reach out to the agent if you want to get a brand deal with an influencer or a celebrity.
Good.
That could be a whole other podcast. But so I reached out, it worked out, God aligned it. This person was also a believer, which I think is really special to me. Even though, it wasn't a long-term client, it still, I feel like, set the tone for the big journey that was ahead. And I'm just super grateful for that opportunity.
Yeah, because you landed some national people at that point. I mean,
right.
some big time celebrities and also sports, international sports people. So it was very impressive what you did. And I know Brianna was involved in some of that in the consulting and talking and because we had some breakdowns.
Oh, gosh. So many. Yeah. And I just want to talk about that. Even being a young entrepreneur, being an entrepreneur of any age, you really realize the maturity of your emotions very quickly. And you see, okay, where are my anxiety levels at? And you don't even have to analyze it. It just becomes apparent to you. And so I think that really showed me, that was a reality check of like, oh my gosh, where's my identity?
Yeah.
And how do I handle stressful situations? Yeah. Because that sets you up for the rest of your life if you can really deal with the tough things.
Yeah, I think that's such a good point. I saw the other day, Cody Sanchez, she posted, she's like, never cry in business. She's like, you should never, ever.
She's the one that buys companies.
Yes. Yeah.
And
See,
she's referring to being by yourself crying or being in front of a client crying.
In your business. So if you're operating in your business, by yourself, I don't think she cared about that part, or at least that wasn't the takeaway that I had. But I think she was talking about, she's like, you need to be in control of your emotions. And so she's like, yes, get a tissue box for the other person who's crying, but you aren't to cry.
Don't cry.
Don't cry.
Yeah, because I think, I had in my book, my first book, The Authentic Salesman, I talk about never let them see you sweat, right? And so, because I had some times where I needed to sweat, but I didn't sweat. And so, all right, so you transferred from, you did Lux Supply and this high-end concierge business, which you really did good. And I remember some of the things you did, like I remember your clients were coming to a nice restaurant. And I said, you need to go in advance to that restaurant and take your roll of 20s.
Yeah.
Right. And what'd you do?
Yeah, gosh, many a times. I mean, I showed up maybe an hour early to make sure that the staff was taken care of. The host was taken care of at the restaurant. The table looked good. And, you can just never be too prepared. And at the time I thought, okay, this is just the concierge business that I have to be so prepared, have to show up, have to make sure everyone is in order. And it's every single business. It's everything you do. It's everything you pursue, even in your personal life. You can never be too prepared. And that's what separates you from the rest of the industry that you're in, of the rest of the people in the world, really.
Separates the wheat from the chaff. So go ahead, Brianna.
Okay, so from observing you and being with you in that business, I feel like you had to learn a lot of overcoming the impossible or making the impossible possible all the time. And so what did you learn from that? How did you learn to lean into that and embrace it? And how has that served you going forward?
That's a great question. I think I was so busy that you don't even process that. You just do it. And if you just do everything in your power and you're too busy to think, or to worry, like you just keep going. And what I love that Trump says, and I know this is kind of like a different topic, but if you're ever feeling depressed, just go and work your butt off.
It's
like
true.
You just, it takes your mind off of any issues because you're working so hard that you don't have the time to think, oh, this is impossible. Like you're just doing it. So
okay, then second question or follow-up is, what were some of the craziest impossible situations you were handed that you can share?
Okay.
I remember a few.
We have a lot that we could say.
I have one that we might have to bleep a part out, but
that's okay.
A client wanted.
Devin hates bleeping.
Our producer.
A client wanted some entertainment at their party, at their birthday party, and
Is that the mermaids?
It was the mermaids. It was the mermaids. We're getting into
I
it.
heard about the mermaid situation.
So the day of, and then, this led to a great contract that I made after. No. Anyways, the day of, they said, can we have the mermaids in a certain condition without certain clothing? And I thought, oh my gosh, these mermaids, we have them booked. Now I have to give them the news.
And mermaids are pretty sensitive too.
Yeah, I love how we're referring to them as mermaids.
Yeah,
like
as
that's their
mermaids.
condition that they come in. They are real life mermaids, guys.
Yeah, I mean, and finding mermaids in Dallas is
It's hard
Now,
because we're not
very-
near the ocean at
So
all.
I have a question. So do you find, are these models who are willing to be mermaids for this party? No. It's people who are like, this is a whole business.
So anyways,
industry.
you pulled
No,
it off. Right?
it's not.
Okay.
You did what you had to
Third.
do, and everybody got respected, and you treated people.
Yeah, and there was a lot of miscommunication. The person that I asked to be a mermaid, she brought her friend, who was also going to be a mermaid because, like I said, slim pickings.
That was her life dream.
Right. And she didn't come. She was like, oh, yeah, that's totally fine with me. This new update of how I have to be at the party. But my friend, or she just left it at that. And yeah, my friend is good. Friend shows up, has no idea that this
she's
is
gonna
the
be a
new
mermaid.
condition.
Oh.
And I wanted to make sure that they were comfortable. And when she wasn't, of course, I'm not going to, you don't want to pressure anyone in that situation ever. And also, with the morals that I have, it's like, oh my gosh, you're dealing with these people who don't care and they just want what they want. And at the same time, you're making sure that you're doing the right thing and that you're honoring.
It's a fine line to walk.
It is.
Yeah.
And it's tough. And especially when you're so young, I was 23 and I'm like, oh my gosh, what do I do here? We have a sushi lady, just laying on the table with sushi. And it's just like, it's a very surreal, you just never expect to be put in these situations. And so
It's real life coming at you.
yeah.
Real world. It's the world.
And from that, you handled yourself professionally
Right.
as best you could.
Yeah,
and
you make
dealt
sure
with it.
everyone's safe. You make sure everyone's
Yeah.
taken care of. You make sure the client is happy. And that's all you can do
Right.
to the best of your ability.
All right, so let's fast forward 4 years to present time, right? And so you launched this social media company when, and the name of your company is Momentum Media
Yes.
Yes.
Momentum Media Group.
Group, and you're quite successful, and you've got quite a few clients. And so, when did you launch this, and why did you launch it, and what's happening with it?
Yeah. So January of last year, 2025, I launched Momentum Media Group really just in hopes to have just a small, because at the time I'm still doing concierge, and I just wanted a passive income, just fun, creative, taking videos for clients, posting reels, TikToks, Facebook reels. And so it really snowballed. And it's funny because with Lux as well, the success came very quickly and very early. And I remember having a conversation with mommy, and she was like, I kind of get concerned that you like that's your understanding of business, that it comes so quickly and like so fast early on. And I'm processing that now with having even a couple businesses that I started in between supply and this one. They didn't do as good. They didn't take off in the amount of time I wish it would have. And so I think that did humble me, and it's good to have those businesses that that failed or that just didn't look how you wish it would look. And so now with Momentum Media, it's like, okay, I can do this again.
Yeah.
I can have similar success and actually greater success than I had before.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think when you're so young and you reach a certain amount that you're making per year through your own ownership, you're like, okay, am I ever going to make that again? Am I ever going to reach that standard for myself? And the beautiful thing about Momentum Media Group is I totally, like from the very start and every day, I give it back to God. If I ever feel like I'm taking it back from him, I make sure that I give it back.
Yeah.
Good.
And it's all his, and that takes the pressure off. With the concierge business, I had so much stress, so much anxiety because I took it on myself.
Yeah.
And I knew that God had given me favor in it, and I could
But
appreciate that.
you had some very large famous clients too, which also
Yeah.
puts you under more pressure,
Right.
which I think was part of the situation. And because generally they're not in reality. Because they're very entitled
Yeah.
individuals.
Right.
Some of them are really sweet and nice, but some of them are very entitled. But
Yeah.
I want to skip here real quick because I think social media is a big deal. Brianna and I have been working on it a lot. Brianna helps with our social media stuff, and you help with our social media stuff, Brecca. Brianna, as a business person, what have you learned from seeing Brecca's side of the deal?
Mm-hmm.
And what do you see how businesses should approach social media?
That's a good question. Brecca has helped me fine tune this lens because, one, she's younger than me. So that hands down is a huge deal. So you need to listen to younger people than you on social media because they are going to be more in touch with what's current. But I think, I was looking at someone's social media the other day and I didn't like their approach. And I was like, I know this person to be a dynamic, or they could be really fun and dynamic on social media, but their profession, whoever is doing their social media, their profession is like they're trying too hard to look serious about this. And I was like, that isn't going to translate.
Mhm.
Someone that we know that I think does an amazing job with their social media is Shariella, Dr. Shaggy on Instagram. Lifelong family friends with them, and
In Frisco, Texas.
in Frisco, Texas, yes, at the Cowboy Star.
Yeah.
And but I think she does such a good job of, she is a professional.
But she doesn't take herself too seriously.
No, and so she has fun, and that translates, and you're like, oh, maybe I do want to go in the
Yeah,
office.
and right.
And so I've learned that from Brecca,
Yeah.
that you need to kind of honor the person who you're actually, or the business, and not get so serious about it being like this. Oh no, we need, if we're a doctor, if we're whatever,
Yeah.
it needs to be so.
Yeah, and I see some of that out there too.
Yeah.
So, which is really good. That's a good perspective of it. And so, Brecca, with that, how do you? So, let's say you get a client calls you up, say, "Hey, I want you to do. I know you're doing real estate. I know you're doing landscaping. I know you're doing restaurants.
Boutiques.
You're boutiques. I love the diversity that you have. How is it with that? And what does some of your clients expect? And how do you approach a new client? And let's say somebody's watching this right now and say, "Dang, I want good social media, right?" Because everybody does.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're in business at all, you need good social media, right? So, what's your recommendation, and how have you learned this?
Yeah, so consistency is everything, and quality is also important, but it depends on your industry.
Yeah.
And like Brianna said, not taking yourself too seriously. These humor videos, these videos that have a sense of virality, of an element you don't expect to see, especially from this client that's posting it, is what's going to catch people's eye. It's going to get engagement, and then turn into revenue for the business. What these clients expect, or they don't know that they expect, but they really appreciate it as they see it, is the administrative side of the social media business, because there's a lot social media, there's a lot of creatives, which is great. We need creatives, but we also need someone to be organized and to communicate it properly with the clients every single week, not every month, not, oh, we're going to get this video to you at some point. No, it's every week. They know what they're going to get. And that's what makes Momentum Media Group different, is the trust, the credibility.
Yeah.
Not just the viral videos, it's everything. And, we need it all.
Yeah, and what's amazing, what I see that you do is you go the extra mile for your client. You do. And I know, like, for instance, right now you've got a couple new videographers that you use. And one of the things I find amazing about you, Brecca, is you love to edit. Okay. Now, look, I've only been around this game for about, 10 years. And nobody that I've ever talked to likes to edit. Is that true, Brianna?
True.
Is that your experience? Brianna, Brecca, why is it that people don't like to edit? And why do you like to edit?
I don't know why people don't like to. I think it takes a lot of time.
Is it time consuming?
It's probably time consuming for a lot of people.
Well, because I remember at New, we, Joe Awesome, he hated editing.
Really?
He just hated it,
Well, and I'm sure a lot of what they did was longer form content, maybe.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know.
probably true.
It was a variety of both, but I think for me, I've really, one of my many hobbies that I wanted to do when I was younger, I loved the art of filmmaking and how movies looked, but more in the aesthetic way. And sometimes I'd appreciate the story. I do appreciate the storytelling, but it was more about the aesthetics of it. And so when I was able to make that for myself and also get very fast at it and efficient, I'm like, okay, well, this just makes sense.
It's interesting because I remember years ago you were like, no editing, and then it was this thing that built over time. And I do think visual storytelling is super powerful. Something that I noticed from you, and I'm curious if you still feel the same way when you started working with restaurants, and when we would go out to restaurants, you were like, oh, this would be so fun to film. And so I thought that was interesting that you realized how exciting or how cool it is to work with food or restaurants. So tell me about that, and if that's still exciting to you.
Yeah, of course it's still exciting. I think it's a lot of action. If there's any time where I don't have to create the action and the action just happens, it's so much easier, and it's really fun to capture.
Yeah.
What I also want to talk about, I'm going to just defer a little bit, is how I realized I could edit. Is I was doing my own videos on my own TikTok, Brecca_Maack. I did I created a little golf channel, and
oh, that's right.
And what's fun is I had full control. I was able to, I had my husband filming me, which, we went through that whole thing. I had to train him a little bit, and I didn't even know what I was doing, but I know what I wanted it to look like. So as long as I could get it to what I wanted it to look like, everything was good. I was able to edit it how I want, and it was so fun. And to be able to see the follows and everything come from each specific post was so fun to me. And even, not going into fully golf, but doing a little bit of fashion, doing a little bit of just different things. It was a creative outlet that I'm like, I could do this for a really long time.
Yeah. And, it's amazing. And you also just started knocking on doors. Okay.
Yeah.
And old school. And I was so impressed with that, just showing up at places, and you got jobs from that. You haven't lost a client, and which is amazing, because how many social media people have we gone through?
A million.
Right. And then we've also talked to other people who are in the business, and they can't seem to hang on to a client, and there's a reason, because you've got to put in the time, you've got to have communication, which you do. And plus your pricing is right, it's fair. And so one of the things that you just did, you took on a real estate client, a big real estate company, right?
Yes.
And they have agents underneath them. How many agents do they have?
300.
Okay. And so they all want a little bit different stuff, right? And so you went out there and you filmed this one lady who was a senior citizen, real estate. Tell us about that and what happened.
Yeah. So she's a very sweet 87-year-old lady.
Come on, man. I love that. That is so awesome.
Yeah. She was full of energy, moving furniture, getting the...
So you went to the house that she had listed.
Yes, that's correct. And so we were going to film the house. We were going to film her talking. She had never filmed a video before, and she just killed it on the first take. And sometimes we have to take a few takes, but she was a natural. And so anyways, we filmed the video, we posted it. She loved it. Maybe, I don't know, 3 weeks later, she said she got a call from someone in California who saw the video, and they made an offer. It was the price that they, listed it at, and only 22 days on the market. So,
and she's under contract.
It's under contract.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
See, this is why you've got to spend the money to get it done right. I know there's a lot of editors out there. There's a lot of video people out there that say they can do stuff. But what I like about your company, Brecca, is you take in this and you spend time in doing it too.
Right.
There's one client that you have to drive 2.5 hours every other week to, right?
Yeah.
And you stay out there all day filming, right? And it's been very successful for that client. I mean, and I'm watching the stuff, and then you've got another client that's close by, that's a boutique, but you show up and you spend 3 hours at a time.
I want to talk about that one. So, and this might help some of you guys who are business owners who are looking for clients. I asked ChatGPT specifically the type of client that I wanted. I'm interested in these different industries to take videos for. Who should I reach out to in Dallas? And that was one of them. And I got an email that same night and landed the client a week later.
Crazy.
Come on.
So
that's really good.
Use your resources. I'm not saying chat's going to work every time. But
yeah. And so how do you determine pricing on this? And I know that people are sometimes really price sensitive, and I understand depending on their business. But like there's one restaurant that has 3 restaurants into one that you work with,
right?
Which is a lot of work. And so during off season, you lower the price a little bit to accommodate them, and then go back up. So how do you determine that? Because let's say somebody's out here saying, man, I want Brecca to come in and do our social media and help us out. How do you come with a pricing situation?
It depends on what they need, what they want, and it's really the quantity of videos.
Okay.
As well as the quality. I think the quality is pretty consistent through all of my clients, so that's not typically something that we have to worry about, but more so the amount of time that we're going to spend.
Okay, so how many videos they want, how many postings they want, and is it videos or is it flyers or what is it they want, and what platforms do they want it on?
Yeah, so we work over all the platforms. We haven't really touched Pinterest much, which I'm interested in learning about, but none of my clients have really needed that so far. It's really TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. We also do YouTube Shorts, which are very successful. In LinkedIn, of course.
It's good. That's really good. So, where do you see social media going here in the next, year or two, or what do you think is going to happen? And I know you're and the second question on that is, I know you're constantly looking for videographers, right, to help you out. And when you sometimes you find people that are really good and sometimes they're not so good.
Right.
How do you deal with that? And, and then I know you do all your own editing. Right. So, is it more that you're looking for videographers to help out, or because I know you do some of it yourself too, right?
Yeah.
So what is the ideal? Because you've got this company, you've got a couple people that are working for you right now to help posting and so other things. What do you look for in staff or contractors?
Well, first, where I think social media is going is anti-AI. I do think it helps, but I think in regards to social media, it creates an inauthenticity and distrust among people. So if you're trying to build your brand, I think that you can use AI tools to create these things and to help them, but not the original content itself.
Yeah. I agree.
Regarding staff, my gosh.
Here's the entrepreneurial, the sometimes headache. Yes. But the right person can make your whole life better, and they're right, because you really truly want a win-win situation, right? Yeah. You want to be beneficial to them, and it needs to be a symbiotic relationship.
100%. Honestly. And I'm not even going to answer this in the real business way. I'm going to answer this in more of like a ethos, emotional way, because when I was doing the concierge business, I had some very interesting experiences with staff then, because you really got to make sure they're presentable. You have to make sure all your staff are presentable in whatever business you're doing, but especially when they're high profile and the stakes are really high, right? And they can communicate well, look nice. And I thought I really went through the ringer with that business. And it didn't stop there. And I don't think it ever will stop until Jesus comes back, because what I'm realizing is there's so much mental health issues. And when people don't deal with it, it really comes out in their workplace. And people don't realize that. They think that, this is only going to show up at home. This will only show up to my friends, my spouse, my boyfriend.
Nobody can see this. Nobody can do it. And they get triggered.
Yes. Yeah. And I think being at work, it really brings out a lot of vulnerable places that we don't expect for these things to work out.
Yeah.
When you're talking to authority, when you're talking to someone who's paying you, when you're talking to the clients, like you realize, or you don't realize, but these weaknesses can expose themselves very quickly.
Yeah. And I know that, I've dealt with the phone calls with you that, and Mommy having our 9 p.m. coaching session and mentoring session, because that stuff like this happens, and it does happen in real life. And I think that's really good. So, all right. So how do you bring your faith into this momentum media?
Every day, really relying on God for every step of the way, especially when there's unsure things, and gratefulness. I would say those two things. Always being grateful. Whenever I start to feel like, oh, I'm complaining, like, oh, making this drive again, or, oh, I feel so tired, I'm like, oh my gosh, wait, no, I'm so grateful that God trusted me to have yet another business to learn from, to grow, and to provide with my family for. And it's just, nothing beats that. This is the journey that God is calling us on. And so why would I complain about that? This is what I've made to do. So gratefulness is huge. When I'm unsure about a client, I'm like, or staff, I say, God, take that client out, take that staff out if you don't want them a part of this business. And he does. And it's really quick now because I laid that foundation early on, and every day or every moment that I can to give it back to him, because it's his, it's not mine. So he handles things very fast, which I love. And I think
I want that. I want that. I'm going to have to start bringing that in more. That's good. That's good.
Yeah, because with the concierge business, it was like problems would last not just months, but like a year plus. And that's not how God wants us to have our businesses. He wants to take care of things quickly because it's such a time as this.
Amen.
Right?
It's good.
That's good.
It's really good. You want to add anything to that?
Yeah. So you brought up a really good point about hiring people who hopefully have mental health is a mature area, or an area that they've matured in. So how have you matured mentally in the process of owning a business, especially from such a young age?
Yeah. So like I said earlier, the anxiety factor, I realized how much anxiety I had with the concierge business and how much identity I got from other people's opinions, my clients' opinions especially. I would be hysterically crying if I made a mistake and not knowing how to get out of that, really feeling like it's the end of the world, truly. And so I think it wasn't until the end of that, closer to the end of fading out some of those clients or the clients that didn't serve the business, I realized the only opinion that matters is Jesus's opinion of me. And that, like, you just take a deep breath and you feel human again. And you're like, oh my gosh, I can make a big mistake and it doesn't matter because my Father loves me, and that's literally all that matters.
It's good. It's really good.
Really
that's
good.
what I would say. And really, yeah, I don't think much has changed since that realization with social media. I think I've been able to have fun and enjoy the process of it without being so worried and having the concerns that I had.
Something that I've noticed, especially in your ability to go knock on doors and actually do like boots on the ground kind of marketing of your business, which I so admire. I saw something this morning that made me think about that in particular, connect me to it. So there's this concept, and I think there's a book about getting 1,000 no's. And so there was this young girl who went for 1,000 no's, and now she thought she was going to get no's from all these people. Now she's a Dutch citizen. She's like, I'll go for a citizenship in
Dutch.
Well, in the Netherlands. In the Netherlands, sorry. So, but she got a Dutch citizenship and then like an honorary pageant title, and all of these doors have opened up for her.
Because she just went for the nose.
She just went for the nose, even though she might not even be qualified for like half of the stuff. And so I feel like there is that level of it starts with a G, grit, and that, like, well, there's other words for that. That's really good. But I feel like you have that. And that's something that I do think is necessary for an entrepreneur. And you got that directly from Daddy. And then I know Mommy has helped that process too, for
100%.
sure. So I really admire that, like, grit of like, no, I'm going to do it. And it works, and it's really beautiful, and not everyone can. And it's hard sometimes, I think, just being real when we are working with other entrepreneurs who don't have that. I believe there's hope for them. I don't think it's like a hopeless situation. I think you can work that muscle, just like that girl is getting 1,000 no's and doors are opening for her. So what would you say to the people who are scared to maybe come out of their comfort zone because of that?
You don't experience, or you don't remember the rejection once you get the yes.
That's
you don't
so good.
You don't feel the sting, like, and I don't think I've ever really felt the sting, because you always just move forward. Okay, what's the next one that I'm gonna get? Because it just doesn't affect you.
Good.
And I think you'll be surprised with how many more yeses you actually get than you do with the amount of no's. So it's just, I mean, thinking of all the places I've called or gone to, like it really doesn't seem like that many
much.
no's.
Yeah.
So,
well, I do believe you have favor on your life for these service. I mean, for so many things, but obviously these service-based businesses, I think that you do have a unique thing, which is amazing. And I'm curious, how much time would y'all estimate for most business owners do you think they need to be spending on prospecting their clients?
well, right now I'm in a place where I want to spend more time doing that. And so I'm really getting a lot more of my help in place.
Yeah.
More of your staff,
More
right?
of my staff.
And with that, and just so maybe somebody's watching out here, that maybe somebody knows a great videographer in Dallas area, right? They need to be in the DFW area, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. And so what are you looking for in a videographer?
I'm looking for a videographer that has a natural eye of knowing what looks good, knowing, really just the basics too. And who can be coachable, who can be trained.
Okay. And then are you looking for editors at all?
Of course, always.
And what are you looking for in an editor?
That's a tough one because you really do have to be a natural, I think, more than even being a videographer. You have to know what the best parts of the footage are and really and spotting it quickly. That's
and so
important.
you don't have to be a master at the software. You need to be a master at the creative.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Because I know you had a couple of people you reached out at DBU, and they're young and they need a gig, right? They need to make some money,
Right.
but their work is it's not great. It's okay, but it's not seasoned. So you want seasoned editors and seasoned videographers,
That would be nice.
if possible. Okay.
That would be nice.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
Go ahead, Brianna.
No, you go ahead.
No, you.
Okay, but I do want to know, I'm still asking this question. How much time do you think, Michael, people need to spend trying to find new business?
It's all the time.
Right.
100% of the time.
Is it like 80% of your time, or like that should be allocated in a
Well, yeah.
way?
I mean, every business needs leads. And one of the things that I've always taught people, is, in clients or in salespeople or in editors or in videographers, no matter what, because one of these days you'll probably have a bevy of these people, right? 10 videographers, 10 editors. And what happens is you'll have a third coming, third going, a third staying. And because people are always looking for the next, the grass is always greener on the other side, or, I don't want to talk, Brecca offended me, or Brianna is mean, or, McIntyre is AH, all of which might be true at certain points in time, but that's part of being a contractor or being a person working for somebody else. But but you've got, with finding new clients, if you're in a new client business, if you're not just working underneath one big company that's paying you a big fat contract, then you're always, because the companies that you have now, I always look at them. I don't have them. Okay, whatever client I have now, I look at, I don't have them. I want more. And so if you're constantly going out there and putting yourself out there and replacing things, because even if your clients, because you've got a good steady base clients, which is good, but and I know you want to grow more, right? And that's what one of the things you want to do, which I like that, because you're good at it. But you've got to constantly, how much time? As the CEO, I've told you all before too, and this AI thing we got coming up, I talked about that. What if we have a next level experience we've got going on? If we have the gentleman's agreement, which we dropped the ball bigly, we got to promote this stuff. It's 7 days a week, all the time, and it's all about promotion. So to answer your question, Brianna, all the time, you're constantly looking for new clients all the time, new people, new emails. You gotta keep developing that. So as a CEO, I want somebody that's dedicated to that a lot. And it's hard when you're at a small company, right? It is. And so, I know that like we one of the things that we've learned is Upwork is good. We found some really good talent, and chat has helped you with that Upwork.
Yes.
Right. Which is good. So Brecca, with your business, with Momentum Media, and you're going into a new phase because you've got a good base of clients currently. Yes. So how big do you want your company to be? What are you looking for? Are you looking for new clients?
Of course. I always,
I love how soft you say that. Of course. You're so calm. You're so good. In a lot of ways we're the same, but in a lot of ways we're different. Yes, I want more clients. Bring them on. Yes.
Yeah, I think I'm just taking day by day right now.
Well, that's really smart. What is your ideal client? Let me ask you that. Is there such a thing?
You know, I really love my clients right now who are boomers. I really do.
Because they know nothing about social media.
Right.
So they don't try to tell you everything, right?
That is true. I don't understand the social media agencies that go after influencers because I'm like, oh my gosh.
Why?
The pressure that you're putting on yourself is wild.
A lot of prima donnas, huh?
Yes. Yeah. And the boomers, they're just like, go do your thing. And I'm like, thank you, Lord.
Because you're going to produce.
Right.
And you're producing for them.
Yes.
Yeah. Because I know when we do filming and stuff, you come up with the ideas, mostly, and then I just go off that. And,
right.
And do I like always the way I look? No. And
that's his biggest complaint.
And Brianna, do you always like the way you look? Why not? Because it's just the way we are, right?
Yeah, it's shocking. I think I had to have like a couple weeks ago, or maybe last week, I got the latest files for the podcast, and I was like, oh. Like, just, it's shocking watching yourself communicate. And so then I made a decision. I was like, let's not hang out in this. Let's get comfortable. And so then I did a video on my Instagram and I was like, we're doing this. Like, I'm going to start pushing myself into it.
It's good.
Also, like, I'm doing my own personal form of rejection therapy on Instagram right now. I'm just posting anything I want to post.
It's good.
And so
I love that.
Whether or not people like it, because I realize I'm the type, I like to interact. I like it to be a conversation. So if I say something funny, I want to know that people are getting it and it's funny to them too. Not everyone's that way, but that motivates me.
Yeah.
And so currently I'm just posting whatever
most
of what I want.
I like that. So yeah, what happens, I think, for me, you guys do stuff for at Next Level or in the deal, and I've laid it down. Now do I like always the way lighting is? No. Do I? Does it look like I've got Yoda bags? Yes. And do I get self-conscious for that? Yes. So I just learned. It is what it is. So how do you deal with clients like that, or do you have clients that really? I know some clients care more how they look than others, right?
Yeah, that's true. What's best is for them to watch as much footage of themselves as they can.
Yeah.
One client came to me and they were like, I just have a resting, no smile face. That's just how I look, and I don't know
RBF.
how. Yes. and I said, well, you can just smile when you talk. It's just very simple adjustments, and once they see it,
they can then do it. Because I don't think we all see what we look like out there in day to day. And it's really sobering to see it sometimes.
It is. Yeah, for me, and they all know this, it's like the faces I make. And Brecca has
I love the faces you make.
Brecca has been trying to help me just edit this in my normal life anyways for years, and I appreciate her trying, and so still working on it. But yeah.
Well, y'all are really into the face massage thing.
Yes.
Too.
And so now that I'm devoting, I've 7 days in. Then now I'm like, okay, don't make faces.
All right. So, So a note to everybody: don't worry about how you look.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And don't too much energy towards it.
Yes.
Right. You really translate to your audience when you are authentic, when you are speaking a lot. If you're, just showing. The most views I usually get are when the owner, let's say it's a restaurant, the owner or the manager comes on the camera and they, share literally anything. Like, it doesn't have to be that complicated.
Right.
But people love to see behind the scenes who's running this operation.
Authenticity is really, that's what people like, right?
Yeah.
Like him or not, Trump is authentic, right?
Yeah.
And that's what moves the needle for him.
Yeah. I have a question for Brecca. How important do you think in social media it is to actually participate in the trends? And does it depend on the business that you're working in?
I think trends are good. I think just applying a viral aspect to all of your videos is more important than even a trend. I think just doing something that's so out of the norm, so unexpected is more important than, let me hop on this trend. Trends are helpful really for social media managers like me, so we can, stay up to date, so we can even, I hate the word copy, but we can copy content. And if the numbers do well for someone else, they'll do well for you too.
Yeah.
So it's lovely to have those. But doing something out of the norm, I would say, is the biggest thing that you could do when you're posting, when you're creating content.
What influencer or what content creator are like surprises you that you're really interested in? Because there's some people for me that I'm like, I didn't know that they would be so good at this. So do you have anyone that inspires you?
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I can name some people.
You go for it. I don't think I have anyone that comes to mind.
Okay. Well, I think that Joe Jonas is amazing he is with the people he seems chronically online. Okay. So there's that. And I do think that's the point you made previously, that like you have to be that. And then Daddy and I were talking about in another conversation, Courtney Cooks is just so sweet. Cook.
Do you know Courtney Cook?
Yes, she can't. Brecca's not a huge fan.
I don't get it either.
It took me a while, and then now I'm like,
I
she's so sweet. Anyways, okay, so those are two just random people. I mean, I have a million other people. Like,
I like Joe's approach because he already had a platform, and then, you know, he might have been posting a little bit, but now he made a comeback because he's leaning into the humor. He's leaning into the behind the scenes with his brothers, just goofing off.
Yeah.
And that's so important. And I think if more celebrities lean into that, like we're talking to celebrities right now, but if they did, if they were, that's what I'd say. Just, and even Drew Barrymore, like I will say, I love how she is on social media, and how she is on her show. She's she's so unapologetically herself. She, even if she makes her people that are on her show, her guests, uncomfortable by holding their hand the whole time. Well, that's who she is, and that's what you're always going to get. So when she's on TikTok, she's spinning in the rain, saying, embrace the moment. And that's just so her. But it's also, you don't see that every day on social media. Someone, especially Drew Barrymore, spinning in the rain.
What about the Chrisleys? What are their names?
Oh, yeah. And they do.
That girl, what's her name?
Savannah.
Savannah, yeah. She got pretty big, didn't she?
I love them, but I don't follow everything that they do. I would say it's more of a conversation.
Yeah.
That's her podcast. Her podcast is what blew up.
Yeah. And then what about Theo Vaughn? You guys like him?
Oh, of course. Yeah. The best.
What do you like about Theo Vaughn?
Oh my gosh, he's brilliant. I think his IQ is actually so high, and we just don't even know. And
he's on a level that...
And most comedians, I think, are. The way they're so quick with their responses, with their jokes, it's just brilliant. And he just says the most outrageous things. Like I said, something so out of the norm, it catches you off guard. And what he does is mid-sentence all the time over a 3-hour podcast.
And he's authentic with it.
Yes. And he's not afraid to offend anyone. And that's what I love. I'm like, some people on his podcast, the guests are like, you know, he might say something racially that's like a little alarming, and the guest, you can tell, is not feeling it. They'll just laugh it off and move on. And for me, if I said something like that, I would shut down, and he just, no, oh, whatever. Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry I said that. Okay, next topic. You know, he's such a professional. Like, he doesn't take anything personal. And he just says the crazy
I think he's sober too right now, right? Like 75 days. Like
we're talking about Leo Skepi.
Oh, Leo Skepi.
Leo Skepi is...
Yeah, that's the local guy here in Dallas.
Okay, yeah. So love Leo Skepi. The reason
the gay guy that cusses a lot about, and he's into Jesus now.
Yes. Okay, so what's so cool about him? I think
he's getting there.
He's getting there.
One of the really cool...
I mean, yeah, I never heard so many F-bombs related to the New Testament, but
I think that's so special, because everyone is so concerned about their image and their walk with God.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of LGBT people coming out, starting their Christian walk on social media, which, wow, love that.
Yeah.
And as Christians, this is huge, to not judge them in this process. The fact that they are being authentic in their walk in front of millions of
probably
people.
More authentic than most Christians are. Yes.
100%. Yeah. They've been able to surpass our anxiety, our judgment, and just be real. Like, how courageous.
Yeah, that's really good. I mean, one of the things we say in Next Level Experience always is, you know, we don't stand in judgment, we stand in love, right? Just like Jesus loved everybody always, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Whether they're LGBTQ or whatever, or they're what is that country Somalia? What is it?
Somalia?
No, not Somalia. That's Minnesota. Where he saw the lady at the well.
Samaritan.
I knew it was close.
Sumerian.
But
Samaritan, or was-
the Jews and the Samaritans were very bitter enemies.
Right.
So when he crossed over into Samaria, he walked right through Samaria. Most Jews walked all the way around.
Yeah, right.
He walked right through. So anyway, I guess.
No.
I don't know if that
you're
reflects.
Right.
But but what I like about these guys, and I hear some of it. I'm not following him, but I hear some of the stuff and it's really shocking.
Yeah.
But it's real.
It's good.
And it's shifting the way evangelism is taking place on social media, which is so needed right now because people are getting really offended by the cadence of some of these old timers. Not old timers, they're young people, but the way they talk about the Bible, and people just get so, and I've gotten triggered by it. It's like, come on, can we just have a conversation here?
Yeah.
But it's also good not to judge those people too,
yeah.
right? We're not supposed to judge any of them, and regardless of how they speak or how they just, come on now,
Right.
like you accept them as they are. But I do think this new wave of the Christian journey being on social media is very important.
Okay, so like Taylor Welch, how would you consider his podcast? How do you consider that? Is he authentic in his Christianity?
I think so. I think 100%. He's very intelligent, obviously, and he doesn't have a churchy cadence. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I think his stuff is more just intellectual on the Christian journey. And even though it's very spiritual, very
It's out there.
woo-woo,
It's out there.
It's very
He brings
woo-woo.
on some guests. Who's that one lady he brought on recently?
Katie Souza?
Yeah, Katie Souza.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing I get from Taylor, I honestly don't even care about the guests. Like, fine, I'll listen to them.
I love the guy.
Well, I mean, the guests I should probably lean in more, but what I think how God uses it for me is reminding me, I love hearing when Taylor talks about how he talks to the Holy Spirit. And so it reminds me of don't just like stay in the shallow end of questions.
Go into the deep end.
Right, exactly. Don't like actually ask like the mind bending questions.
Yeah.
Okay, God, what are you not telling me here?
Yeah.
Like, or what have I not asked you? And why, what are you going to tell? What do you want to tell me?
Yeah.
What do you want me to know? I'm not phrasing that the way I want to.
But doesn't his segments go 3 hours?
Some of them, two and a half.
Yeah. Yeah.
What he is also authentic about his journey too.
That's what I love.
It may
Yes.
not look rough because he's really educated. He really knows how to talk, but he is still like, I just started hearing Holy Spirit a year ago or whatever he says, and he was relying on his wife to hear from Holy Spirit only.
I saw
which
that, yeah.
most people would never admit, especially who are on a huge platform.
Yeah.
Talking about the gospel.
And I think that he's really I love his stories, and I find it funny that he talks about how it takes him a long time to go be obedient to God. Like God will be like, go do this. And he's like, I'm not doing that. He's like, I'm not going to do that. Like, and that's so real.
Yeah.
There's some people who are amazing at that. The most people are not.
Right.
And so, but then he does it eventually, and he follows through. And so I do like that realness.
The humility of admitting that. Like, I get taken aback when he says that.
Yeah, I got taken aback by Taylor Welch, and some of the stuff I really like that he does, and some of it bores me to death. Okay, and your mother gets really mad at me because I don't want to listen to 3 hours of it without stopping. And so I think one of the things that I think really is he talked about right after Charlie Kirk dying, getting killed. He didn't mention anything about it, and then somebody came on there and said something to him, and he said, "No, I didn't care. I'm not in a place to do that." I was kind of disappointed, but I thought it was a real response. It was an authentic response, which I didn't like. It's just like that church we went to that day had nothing to say about
what happened,
Charlie Kirk, which I was disappointed in. But look, it is what it is, and that's what they said. So.
Well,
all right,
here's what I like about that, first of all, is that Taylor actually acknowledged why he didn't respond. And I think that a lot of the churches that didn't say anything
never said anything.
Said nothing.
I agree.
Ever.
And right.
And he is such a person that now that he hears from Holy Spirit, he's like the type of person will only move and only do any little thing based off of what Holy Spirit does. That's obviously not how we really operate, and we do listen to Holy Spirit, but not about when I need to take a drink. And I'm not saying Taylor is like micromanaged, but anyway.
Also his journey has led him there too. And so everyone's journey is unique, and that level of, okay, this is how I'm going to be. Some of us, it's like, okay for us to, okay, I can go do this today because that's just what I'm going to do. And not there's no morality to it. What I see right now is he's being super refined. And I'm sure there's a bigger purpose for that. And that's why he needs to be so sensitive.
Well, he's doing fantastic. He's got a massive following, right?
Yeah.
He's got a massive following. And I think your mother now has me watching these shows where he's teaching somewhere.
Yeah.
Novo something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyways, real boring to me. Yeah, but I am still
because it's not motivational.
It's not, but because he is very cerebral and very smart. So in closing this, and thank you, Brecca, for being our first guest on the McIntyre Inc. live podcast, video podcast. How do people get in touch with you? Let's say they want to hire you, right? Because you're very great, you're creative, you're doing this well, you're increasing. Your clients are happy, they're getting sales, they're getting more clients, they're getting more followers. So how does somebody hire Brecca Maack at Momentum Media?
Yeah, check out momentummedia-group.com to check out our website and email us. The email is on there, phone number's on there, and we'd love to help you.
And you'll get back to them.
Oh, 100%.
That's one of the things that I instill in everybody. I like to return messages or take the calls or get right back. It cracks me up when people don't respond.
Makes no sense.
You know, if you get a text message, respond. Okay, it's not hard just to send a happy face emoji, a sad one. Maybe the Italian salute or peace, whatever. But just respond.
Goes a long way.
It does. And who's that one guy? He started out in wine and now he's blown up big. He yells a lot.
Gary V.
Yes, Gary V talks about that. He talked about early on in his career, respond to emails, respond to text messages. It takes you 2 seconds to do so.
Yep.
And it really, and the most successful people he talks about respond to their deal. I have some people that are very creative and I love the creative and they don't respond, for like days.
Makes me so mad.
It does. It chaps my ass. And so, but I tell them too, but they don't care because that's the way they are.
Right.
But that also reflects their bank account, in my opinion.
Totally.
All right. Brecca, you want to say anything?
Thank you for having me. And I'm so excited for the McIntyre Inc. podcast.
Yes.
This is so fun. And I'm excited for the next time.
Thank you. Well, I'm so glad you're here. Go check out Brecca Maack at Momentum Media
-group.
Don't
forget the dash.
Don't forget the dash.
Also, I would like to say I am very proud of you, Brecca.
Yes.
And you've done an amazing job and you are anointed and appointed for this.
Amen. All right. Remember, Jesus is King, the name above all names. Hey, check us out. Share this podcast with your friends, your frenemies, or anybody else, or just thank you for listening. God bless. And everybody deserves your very best presentation. Go get them.